What's up, guys? Paul D here from the Metro-West Academy of Jiu-Jitsu in Natick, Mass. As a member of the Violence Dynamics team, Casey asked me, since I'm one of the full-time school owners and we teach a Japanese martial art here called Jiu-Jitsu, he asked me to lay down a video for you guys and kind of discuss a little bit the difference between self-defense training and martial art training. And I love both of them, so I try to be helpful in that regard. So I'm going to show you a video in a moment of two of my students, Eric and Curtis. Eric and Curtis, what they're doing is a game called Brandori. If you've trained in Japanese martial arts, sometimes referred to as rolling, it depends if you're standing or on the ground. Brandori, the idea is live play or live competitive action. And it's fun. It's a fun exercise. It is designed to be somewhat competitive, somewhat resistive. So you have a partner who's not trying to give you the throw necessarily. They might not be trying to counter everything you're doing in the particular version you're seeing. They're not attempting to counter every single throw, but they're also not letting it happen. So there's a myth in the martial art world of, well, martial arts trains you for self-defense because you have a fully resisting opponent. No, you don't. You don't have a partner that's trying to gouge out your eyeball. You don't have a partner that's trying to hospitalize you. You don't have a partner that's trying to truly incapacitate you. You have a partner that's very interested in you being able to come back for class the next night with all your parts and pieces and bits working just fine. So you don't have a truly resisting opponent. So that's a really important thing to understand. So let's break down some of the differences between martial arts and self-defense. Martial arts. One of the biggest things about martial arts is safety. If I do not train in a safe environment, if I do not train with a conscious thought about how do I keep my students safe, myself safe, my other friends on the mat safe, well, then the training won't last very long. The inherent part of martial arts is attempting to generally damage another human being in some way, shape, or form. And if I take that to its fullest extent, I'm going to be putting people in the hospital, and I don't really want to do that to my friends. So when I train, either I'm holding something back, I'm not fully extending, or I'm moving incredibly slowly. Because safety. One of the other things about martial arts, fun. If it wasn't fun, my sensei used to say, if we didn't take a fairly brutal martial art like jiu-jitsu and make it a fun element, we would have 3 nut jobs in a basement beating the crap out of each other, and no one would get better other than those 3 sickos. So fun is one of the important components of it. I don't mean you want to be a clown. I do mean that you want the training to be enjoyable. Training, it has health benefits. It's a form of exercise. My students frequently leave the class much sweatier than they walked into the class. That's fun as well. Physical competition. Competition is fun. So that's a big part of it as well. And one of the last pieces, and this is kind of a big thing, one of the pieces of the martial arts is it's very, very difficult to incorporate surprise into an environment where I drive my car to the school, I get out of my car, I go into a changing room, I take off my regular clothes, I put on either work clothes, like workout clothes, or maybe if you train a Japanese martial art like I do, an actual gi, and then your brain is now mentally prepared for some sort of physical conflict. Some of the drills might be surprising in nature, but your brain was in that mode. You weren't walking down the street thinking about your taxes and your bills and your significant other and your job and your customers. You weren't thinking about those things when you were surprise attacked. That's a very, very different type of surprise. So now let's talk about self-defense. Hallmark of self-defense, unequal initiative. I just talked about this with martial arts. Martial arts is very difficult to surprise somebody. Most self-defense, I'm not talking about mutual combat, 2 guys in a bar, that's not self-defense. True self-defense is generally done with a surprise setting, a sucker punch, an attack from the rear. You're not expecting it, you're not prepared for it, you're not mentally ready for it, you didn't tie your belt and be like, let's go, looking like a training montage for the latest action movie. So you have unequal initiative. You almost always are going to be dealing with unequal force. So somebody that is bigger than you, somebody that is bringing friends along with them, someone that is bringing a tool to the confrontation, a knife, a gun, a pipe, a vehicle. It doesn't particularly matter what the tool is, but they're bringing something as a force multiplier. I recognize I'm a sizable human being. I'm not a small person. I identify that the person who's going to be coming after me is probably either a huge dude or somebody that's going to be using some sort of tool to intimidate or take me out. Intent. The intent in self-defense and the intent in martial arts is totally different. The intent of martial arts is to improve yourself and improve your partner on the mat. The intent in self-defense is to take out the other person, to take advantage of their body, to take advantage of their goods, or to take their life. It has nothing to do with keeping the other person or making them a stronger human being. And these are important things to understand for a difference. Another important thing with self-defense. It's important to understand that there are legal and ethical ramifications of everything that you do. With the martial art training, I can train to choke people out, break their arms, whatever it is that we're doing, and the ramifications are simply do it safely so my partner is fine. In self-defense, I have to make sure that I am using that which is legally allowed or that which I am ethically going to be able to go to sleep that night with and be okay. And these are important considerations as well. So, with those differences between the martial arts and self-defense, guys, it doesn't make anything bad. Do a lot of the physical components of the martial arts overlap into the self-defense world? Of course they do. Do they all overlap? They might have once upon a time. I train a Japanese martial art called Jitsu. There's a whole lot of techniques on that list designed for sword. For the most part, that's not part of something I have to worry about anymore. Doesn't make that training not fun, enjoyable, or something that I like doing. It doesn't mean that it's training self-defense, and that's an important thing to understand as well. What are you doing? What's its intent? Does it scale? I am, again, a larger human being. If I'm working with a smaller individual, can that individual use those techniques against me effectively and efficiently? All right, guys, Violence Dynamics Prime, coming up 3rd week of October in Minnesota. We'll have a link down in the description below. Here's our ask. If you really enjoyed this video, you're welcome to share it. That's great. But what we actually do is we want to enhance the conversation. What kind of training do you do? What kind of training do you focus on? Do you train in the martial arts? That's totally fine. We love the martial arts. That's what got us all into this. Do you have a self-defense class as well? So my question for you guys is, do you have a martial art class? Do you have a self-defense class? Do you have self-defense inside the martial arts? Do you identify with your students, hey, this is art, this is fun, this is sport? Or do you discuss, hey, you know what, guys? This right here, this is a self-defense time. We're not going to worry about, locks, controls, and fun and flow. This is do what you need to do and get out of there and be able to explain what you did. So that's my question for you guys. Do you do that? Put it down in the description down below. If you like it, tag a friend, and we'll see you guys at Violence Dynamics Prime. Thanks, everyone.